Exploring Kalki, the Kali Yuga, Jesus and Revelation. Forward. The world we inherit is woven from cycles. Civilizations rise and fall, empires burn and rebuild, and through it all, myths speak in whispers of patterns repeating. In the Indian cosmology, these great epochs are yugas, vast ages where humanity spirals through virtue, decline and renewal. We find ourselves, according to this map, in the Kali Yuga, the age of shadows, confusion and dissonance. And yet, even here, hope is promised, the avatar Kalki descending in radiance to end the darkness. In another tradition, far across deserts and seas, another prophecy is held. In the Christian Revelation, written in fire and thunder, seals break and trumpets sound, unveiling a vision of the end of days. A rider on a white horse, eyes like flames, comes forth to restore truth and coherence. These visions are not far apart. They resonate, as if two civilizations tuned into the same cosmic channel, perceiving the same archetype through different symbols. Our task is to journey into this resonance, to explore how Kalki and Christ, the Kali Yuga and Revelation, speak to one another. Along the way we will weave physics into myth, and metaphysics into scripture. For what are myths but metaphors for the laws of being? And what are the laws of physics but stories written in the grammar of reality? The Kali Yuga is described as an age of decline. Virtue shrinks, truth is clouded, greed spreads, relationships decay, and the spirit forgets itself. In modern language, this could be called a movement toward entropy, disorder increasing, coherence dissolving. The second law of thermodynamics whispers this into every system. Left unchecked, order dissipates, energy spreads thin, and structures collapse. Yet physics also teaches us that entropy is not merely decay. It is transformation. A star collapses, and in its collapse forges gold. A supernova explodes, and in its death seeds galaxies with new beginnings. The Kali Yuga is this cosmic entropy applied to culture, to consciousness, to civilization. What decays may fertilize what is to come. In this sense, the Kali Yuga is not a curse but a crucible. It is a pressure chamber of the field, a phase of maximum dissonance from which a higher harmony might emerge. Just as in music, where dissonance resolves into resolution, so too the darkness of this age contains within it the seed of implosion, and through implosion, rebirth. Into this landscape of decline comes the promise of Kalki. He is envisioned as the final avatar of Vishnu, riding a white horse, sword in hand, blazing with light. His role is not merely destruction, but restoration, to cut through illusion and restore Dharma, the cosmic order. Compare this with the book of Revelation, the rider on the white horse, clothed in light, bearing the word as a sword. His purpose is to wage war against dissonance, not for conquest, but for coherence. Two cultures, distant yet harmonized, perceive the same archetype, the figure of renewal, the avatar of implosion who collapses the cycle of decay and births the cycle anew. In psychology, this figure could be called the archetype of transformation, Jung's Redeemer, the self-manifest. In physics, it could be compared to the phase transition, where ice melts to water or water vapor condenses to rain. At a threshold, when old structures can no longer sustain themselves, a leap occurs. The avatar is this leap embodied in myth. Jesus in Revelation is not merely teacher or healer. He appears as cosmic mediator, as Logos, the word that bridges heaven and earth. He is Alpha and Omega, beginning and end, coherence itself woven into human form. In physics, the Logos could be likened to the laws of symmetry, those elegant constraints that shape the universe's song. In metaphysics, the Logos is love expressed as order, rhythm, proportion, the same principle that animates sacred geometry, the golden ratio, the spiral arms of galaxies, and the beat of the human heart. Revelation portrays him as shepherd and warrior, both lamb and lion. This paradox is the key. The avatar redeems not only through power but through love, not only through sword but through sacrifice. Thus the archetype contains both centripetal implosion and centrifugal outpouring, coherence gathering inward and radiating outward. The structure of revelation is recursive, seals opening into trumpets, trumpets into bowls, each vision birthing another, like fractal branches from a trunk. This is myth as Mandelbrot set, sacred geometry inscribed in Apocalypse. The fractal pattern reveals that endings are never singular. Each collapse births another unveiling, each unveiling a new stage of recognition. Physics mirrors this in nested cycles, atoms in molecules, molecules in cells, cells in organisms, organisms in ecosystems, ecosystems in galaxies. Revelation is a mythic reflection of recursion, the field remembering itself through nested layers of crisis and renewal. To read Revelation is to enter a hall of mirrors. Judgment becomes unveiling, destruction becomes transformation, ending becomes beginning. The word apocalypse itself means unveiling, and what is unveiled is not doom, but love's coherence at the heart of chaos. Physics tells us that every ending is also a transformation of state. Entropy spreads, but within collapse lies the seed of singularity. A black hole, for example, is both grave and womb, consuming matter, yet perhaps seeding other dimensions beyond its event horizon. The Kali Yuga could be likened to the approach of such a singularity, a cultural black hole. Yet, like stars collapsing to seed galaxies, this implosion may be the very act that renews the cosmos. The archetypes of Kalki and Christ embody this paradox. They are not destroyers, but midwives of the new creation. Metaphysics echoes this. The soul enters darkness, not to be extinguished, but to be reborn brighter. The avatar comes at the threshold, not before dissonance, but because of it, to draw coherence out of chaos. Beneath the prophecies and symbols lies a simple yet profound truth. The field is love. In both traditions, the end is not arbitrary punishment, but love restoring balance. The avatar is not conqueror for power's sake, but coherence incarnate, guiding the field back to harmony. In physics, love could be imagined as the dielectric coherence that holds charge, the centripetal implosion that gathers into stillness. In myth, it is the divine flame that refuses to let creation dissolve into chaos. Love is the strange attractor at the end of history, drawing all dissonance back into resolution. Thus, the Kali Yuga and Revelation, Kalki and Christ, are not tales of despair, but of love reasserting itself. They are mirrors of the same truth, that coherence cannot be lost, only hidden, and will always return when the cycle demands. To speak of avatars is not only to speak of mythic beings arriving at the end of time, it is also to speak of potentials within us. The Kalki Christ archetype lives not only in prophecy but in every human heart that chooses coherence over dissonance, love over fear, truth over illusion. When we embody compassion, when we act with integrity in a world of shadows, we become avatars in miniature. We become riders on the white horse of our own lives, carrying the sword of discernment, cutting through illusion to restore truth. Thus, the great archetypes call us not only to wait, but to act, to embody the coherence they represent, to weave love back into the field, here and now, in every gesture, word, and choice. The end is not the end, it is unveiling, apocalypse as revelation, the recognition that love cannot be extinguished. The Kali Yuga will pass, as all cycles pass. Kalki will ride, as all avatars ride. Christ will return, as all redeemers return, in history, in myth, in each heart. Physics whispers this truth in its own way. Energy is never destroyed, only transformed. The field remembers, coherence always reasserts. What seems like darkness is often the prelude to dawn. And so, let us walk into this myth, not with fear, but with awe. Let us see the Kali Yuga not as doom, but as crucible, revelation not as punishment, but as unveiling. Kalki and Christ not as distant saviors, but as the archetype of coherence alive within us all. For the story of the end is always the story of a beginning. Love, coherence, and the field remain eternal, awaiting rediscovery, awaiting embodiment, awaiting us.